So if you're starting from, I am not terribly active and I have not done weights, there are many moves that you can do at home that body weight will absolutely get you building muscle and build strength.
So, the first question is, does movement have to mean a full workout or a full gym session?
No.
Number two, is walking enough to improve metabolic and hormonal health?
Yes.
Do you need motivation to move every day? Welcome, everyone, to another happy episode with me. That's your host, Dr. Chaya Makija, and our podcast is Hormones and Hope. Today, I have a very fun guest, fun physician. The reason I say fun is because I am standing and recording this podcast, which is my first one with being on my feet. And I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Sara Ionescu. She's a family medicine physician. And what I've learned over time, at least for the last 1 year, that she is all into exercise movement and teaching women physicians or coaching them how to incorporate movement in their daily routine without going to the gym. So I'm delighted to have you, Dr. Sara, here. And please tell us something more fun about you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe something more fun is I am a mom of five. So I have five kids currently ages 6 months to 7.5 years old. So they are close together and we are busy over here.
That's amazing. So, you are here today, and our audience is just going to love what you're going to tell us. I just have this feeling because, most of the shows we talk about, specific specialty medicine field and how we can unify lifestyle interventions to prevent that particular condition or to optimize it or even prevent complications. And today I feel it's all going to be specific lifestyle intervention, which many of us as humans tend to procrastinate. And or we don't have time to find time for this particular lifestyle intervention. So please tell us about your role as being the exercise coach or movement coach before we get into the questions for you.
Sure. Yeah. So I sort of came onto this because I saw how important movement was in my life as well as in my patients' lives when I was seeing patients full time as a family physician. And what I realized is the things that I figured out along the way that helped me with consistency. And a lot of that came by default because I am a mom of so many kids. I sort of had to figure out, like, how can I make this doable and still be able to be consistent? And what I figured out is it's not as easy as you would think it is, of course. And a lot of people, I think, especially women physicians, have some of these mindset barriers in place to being able to sort of adjust their definition of what exercise is, of what movement is, to be able to be as consistent as they want to be and to move in the way that they want to move. And so the coaching came about really because of that. I started, people that were watching my videos started talking with them, and it was like there were a lot of common themes in terms of the barriers to getting started and then staying consistent. And I realized that people were really interested in what I had to say in terms of how I have done it. And I thought, okay, like this is something that needs to be more widespread. I need to share this and help others in the way that they are looking for in terms of that mindset piece to get people moving consistently.
So they actually inspired you to now be out there in the world and teach them and coach them.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Dr. Sara, we have a few rapid fire questions where you could answer yes, no, but if you feel it needs an explanation, a one liner, please go ahead and help us or give us those insights as well. So, the first question is, does movement have to mean a full workout or a full gym session?
No.
Number two, is walking enough to improve metabolic and hormonal health?
Yes.
Can women in midlife build strength without lifting heavy weights?
Yes.
Do you need motivation to move every day?
No.
Awesome. I'm loving this. Number five, is movement just as important for mental health as it is for physical health?
Yes, yes, 1000% yes.
There were a lot of myths debunked here, people. Okay, Dr. Sarah. We'll get into, I think, most of them, because I'm pretty sure with lifting heavy or just walking, I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of questions raised. So let's start with basics, right? When we talk about movement, what exactly does it mean, and is it any different than, say, exercise?
So, I think it's a little bit nuanced. I would say I started using the term movement because I found that sometimes exercise has this, like, daunting persona with it. And so, especially for patients or for people that maybe haven't been active much at all, I think it sometimes feels like there's this preconceived definition that exercise must look a certain way, it must meet certain criteria, and somehow movement feels more encompassing. So, what I mean by that is, like, as an example, if you're outside with your kids walking, like, that counts as movement. And what I was running into in my personal life was things that I was doing anyway, like walking the dog, being outside with the kids, going up and down the stairs, like these types of things, I wasn't counting as exercise because they were not my, like, intentional workout for the day. But when I started counting them as movement and recognizing, like, no, this is like you are living an active, healthy lifestyle, it made a world of a difference in terms of my mindset surrounding that. So I don't think ultimately they're different, but I do think how you look at them plays into your mindset in terms of getting moving.
So, as a physician and as a coach, when you answered a rapid fire question about, walking, is that enough for hormonal and metabolic health? Give us some insights or even examples of how to incorporate walking in our daily routine. And if there are any guidelines, any recommendations, any tips, strategies that you are implementing.
Yeah. So I think for sure, if you're somebody that's not moving at all and just starting out and trying to figure out what can I do that's doable, I think walking is a wonderful activity because it's very gentle on your joints. You can, briskly walk and really get your heart rate up and get a sweat going if that's something that you're getting, like, working towards. And then now like, maybe your listeners have heard of a lot of people are wearing weighted vests these days with walking where you're increasing your body weight by doing that. And so then you are adding a little bit extra resistance there. But all of these things to say, I think if you're not moving at all, starting with something that feels so doable, you're going to achieve it. So I would always have my patients and some of my clients talking about, like, can you find 1 minute a day? Because what I found is, when I was practicing, the guidelines were like 30-minute 4 to 5 times a week. Wonderful. That is excellent and amazing. But for somebody that's moving 0 minutes, that's one of those, like, that is a stretch goal. Like, that's huge. And that's a wonderful ultimate goal or a stepping stone goal. But I think you have to start somewhere really small and finding that 1 minute to do something to get up and walk, even if it's around your couch, like get off the couch and walk around for a minute. That's better than not doing anything. And in my experience, I have many examples of patients where they were completely sedentary, not moving at all. And I gave them this advice, and they would come back and say, "Doc, after I did that minute, guess what? I did another minute. I was already up, so I just kept going. And then I said, tomorrow I'm going to see if I can do three." So it was almost like when they start taking the action and achieving the goal they set, they expanded it on their own without even me having to be like, okay, here's the next goal, here's the next goal. So I think sometimes it feels like, well, what if the goal is too small? I think in this situation, it's a wonderful idea to start with something doable because you eliminate that motivation piece. It's like anyone can do something for 1 minute and then you expand it over time.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. That's very, very beautifully said. And I'm so on with you regarding the recommendations or advising your patients or even your clients for weighted vest. I personally use it too, and it has been shown even for bone density gains by using the weighted vest. And of course, you want to use it based on your height and body weight. And for my patients, if they need something in terms of guidelines, I usually will have them start with like 10% of their ideal body weight for the weighted vest. If they've never used weights ever, then might as well just walking, like you just talked about. So for people or for many of the adults in this era and even students, when we're in the this education part of phase of our lives, right? There's a lot of sitting screen time, getting your work done, homework, sitting in the library, strategies or tips for movement. So you talked about the 1 minute movement prescription or 1 minute walking prescription. What else in movement could help them while they're sitting and working at something without getting distracted? But it actually serves as a great break and rejuvenates them for the next phase of their work.
Yeah. So I think using a timer there can be helpful, whether it's like on your phone or just paying attention to the clock if you're studying like at a computer or a screen so that you're just aware of how long you've been still, I think is the first piece. That mindset awareness of like, okay, I've been sitting for X many minutes. Now I'm going to do a little movement. Now, I mean, of course, it depends where you are and what you're doing. As an example, like if I notice that I've been sitting for a while, I will just get up and do that minute, whether it's up and down the stairs, walk around the table that you're sitting at, whatever it is. Even if you're in a situation where maybe that's not possible, I mean, you can even be like in your chair and like, okay, I'm gonna do some like overhead presses without weight, or you can lift your legs, like do leg lift up and down. There are creative ways you can move even sitting just to kind of get the blood flowing and reset your body. I think getting up and physically moving is excellent. And I mean, if you're studying, like count the getting up and going to the bathroom, taking a 5-minute break, maybe refilling your water bottle. Like these things can be breaks that you build in while you're still getting what you need to get done.
So lovely. Yeah. If you think about more exercises, please chime during our conversation. I love squats when I'm sitting and charting. And then the other thing I love is, if I'm going to the mall and just tired of standing and I feel like I need to stretch my quads, I'll just start doing lunges. And I've had teenagers laugh at, when I've been doing that, but I really don't care because I really wanted to stretch my quads. And the third one that I tend to use because of my exercise coach is just using bands. And these are simple bands around the ankles. And I'm just walking from one exam room to the other exam room, 1 minute done. And that helps my glute muscles too. So, yes, please let us know if you think of or if you have a list of.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you one right now. This is like my favorite one. Hopefully my camera will follow. So this is a standing move. So I will plant my left foot, have my hand on my hip, and then I raise my arm and leg and then bring them together. So it's inhale and then exhale. And when you're exhaling, you think about your corset muscle really tightening. So you get an ab exercise with the arm and leg. And then, of course, because this is sided, you would want to switch to the other side. But this is one that I love because it's full body. You can do your abs, you can do your arms, you can do your legs, and it's standing and it's not that intrusive in terms of like, it's not like you're getting on the floor to do an exercise like in the library or something. So I think that's one of my favorite standing ones.
Yeah, that's amazing. And for the listeners, if you're watching this on the podcast, you can just watch the same exact exercise on YouTube to learn what exactly Dr. Sarah demonstrated. Amazing. It actually uses arms as well as legs and core in this one. So, why do you focus on women?
Well, I think because I am one and because I think just what I saw in practice, and then now coaching. I think there is a lot of the what I did and what I see other women, especially physicians, doing is a whole big to-do list, and then yourself is at the bottom, right? So this is what happened to me when I was practicing, and it was like kids, husband, house stuff, patients, documentation, like scheduling appointments, everything else. And then there was me at the bottom because I had to do it all. I had to take care of everyone else. And then taking care of me was last. And what happened is I was so exhausted, both mentally and physically. By the time I got through that list, there wasn't anything left for me to take care of myself. And so when I figured that out and I got out of that, and that's a whole separate story. But when I was able to undo that and prioritize myself, it was like, okay, I think I have the tools to be able to help other women that are in that situation, help them figure out the priority and figure out how to take care of themselves.
Yes, I agree. Women are always yes, they are on the last one for taking care of themselves or even finding time for themselves. Yes. So, the other thing is women also go through a lot of, hormonal shifts. And along with that, pregnancy or preconception, conception, postpartum, there are a lot of shifts, even emotionally and physically. It is more demanding for this particular gender, definitely. So it's across all the life stages. And of course, when we talk about perimenopause or menopause, we're also talking about metabolic dysfunction and just rise in these metabolic conditions. So I'm going to tie this question with the rapid fire question was, can women in midlife build strength without lifting heavy weights? And your answer was yes, right? So without lifting heavy weights, we can still build strength. So tell us, give us some examples or what you recommend or, what has helped transform a person from or a woman from feeling weaker physically and now stronger without going to the gym and lifting heavy weights.
So I think I mean, some of it you even touched on already. I think the weighted vest thing is huge. I think there are many, especially, and I think this is for someone that has not been lifting before. So if you're starting from, I am not terribly active and I have not done weights, there are many moves that you can do at home that body weight will absolutely get you building muscle and build strength. And then as you build that base, then you can get to where you're adding weights and then adding heavy weights. But I think things like lunges and squats, wall sit, so that's where you would be in a squat type position with your back against the wall. That really engages the very large muscles in your glute area, in your hamstrings, and your quads. And are very challenging, and I think you can do a lot of this stuff without weight because you either increase the repetitions, so you do it more time to fatigue your muscles, and then also, like, as an example for those wall sits, you're holding it for a long time. So you can sit there and hold it until it feels like, "Oh boy, my legs are getting so tired, I'm not sure they could hold me anymore. Okay, now we stop and take a break and then do it again." But I think there are many body weight exercises that you can do where you just add the repetition and you can build strength, build a base, and then move to adding weights.
Sweet, yeah. And thank you for clarifying because I just want to re-emphasize, especially with the audience, to not take the wrong conclusion. It's not about no for lifting heavy weights. This is actually encouraged and actually helps us build muscle and improves insulin sensitivity and of course prevention of a lot of other metabolic conditions, bone improving in bone strength as well as your muscular strength. But what Dr. Sarah just described was if you're starting, if you have no idea, or if you're, in this age group of 60, 65, and you're like, I've never been exposed to weights. This was beautifully said about, using your own body weight for building that strength. And that's a good place to start with. I personally enjoy planks a lot, and that helps me. And that's, I feel like over the years, I wouldn't say in few months, but over the years, it has built a lot of core strength which I didn't realize until, I had an abdominal laparotomy and the surgeon actually commented about it. So from that day onwards, I was like, okay, I haven't lifted any weights. It was just these planks, which were almost daily holds. Which other exercises, and if you can name them, or maybe at least five that someone can actually perform at home, or maybe watch your videos and learn from those. But they're simple, straightforward, easy, and that would be the first step for them if they have no idea where to start.
Yeah. So I think one, I don't have any videos on this, but push-ups is another one because you can modify it in many different ways. So sometimes some of the moves like, oh, I could never do that, but there's many modifications you can do to make a push-up be more beginner and then you can build up over time. That's a wonderful body weight exercise. Like I said, the wall sit is another one. I do, so I'm going to describe it also since this is a podcast, but like I showed before, so doing like an overhead press and then coming down and then bringing your arms together. So it doesn't look like much and you do one or two and you're like, okay, I could keep going, but this is a great arm one. If you do many reps, like do that for a minute, your arms are going to get tired. Another super simple one is just arms to the side and doing circles. You can do baby circles, you can do big circles, but again, it's about the amount of time that you hold it. Your arms will start to get tired and sore. And then I don't do squats as much as I do sumo squats. And that's just because I was recently pregnant and so I was into doing those because my belly was in the way for doing a regular squat, but the idea is similar, it's just that your legs are shoulder width or more apart when you're squatting down. But those are all I mean, if you're just starting out, if you watch whether it's my videos or other videos with proper form, you can learn them and then start practicing them for little bits of time and then just increase how long you're doing them.
Yeah, so duration. So maybe start with 10, 15 minutes. And then I know you said you gave her the prescription for 1 minute, but if they have time, so 10, 15 minutes every day and then expand it to 30, that would be a good one. Yes, because you were right about the guidelines. We have it in all of the guidelines, AHA, like American Heart Association or American Diabetes, which is 150 minutes a week. And that comes down to, like you said, 30 minutes for at least 5 days. But movement has to happen daily. It has to be consistent rather than just focusing on, oh, I did my 150 minutes for the week and I'll be healthy.
Exactly. Yeah. Consistency far outweighs volume for sure.
Absolutely. Well said. Consistency outweighs volume. That's beautifully said. Thank you so much. Last few tips or suggestions or insights on, this is again relevant to your question for the rapid fire that do you need motivation to move every day? And you debunk that myth that no, you don't need motivation. Then you explain why did you answer no to that question and then leave our audience with some magical inspiration.
So I said no to that because I think no matter who you are, no matter what your job is, no matter how in love you are with the life you're living, there are days that you wake up and you just don't want to do like, no, I don't have the desire, the motivation. I don't want to do that. And so the most important thing is how are you going to keep going on those days, right? Like if we're waiting for motivation on those days, nothing will happen, nothing will change. And I think especially with getting started moving, a lot of times what I've heard is I'm waiting to be motivated. I'm waiting like, but okay, that maybe is never going to happen. So then you're just going to keep waiting. So that's where I think taking action, no matter how small you think it is what is going to get you going and then keep you going because action will lead to momentum and then the ball is rolling and you just build that habit and keep going. And so that's why in the beginning, when I was talking about setting the initial goal, that's why even though I love stretch goals and I love like reaching for the stars and all of that, in this specific situation, setting a goal that feels doable that you know you will achieve with the 1 minute a day. Because, like I said, and I've asked this question to hundreds of patients and now lots of other people with what I'm doing now is can you find 1 minute a day to move? It's really hard to say no to that question, right? Like anybody can find a minute. And so make it be a minute and let it be, I'm wearing my pajamas. Maybe I just rolled out of bed. I like whatever it is, but don't make it be complicated. Don't make it be, I have to get special clothes on. I have to get my shoes on because those are all barriers that are going to get in the way where it feels like a bucket of motivation is required. If it I just woke up, I'm getting on the floor, I'm doing my plank for a minute, or I'm marching in place for a minute. You do it, you show up, and then do it again the next day. And I would say the piece that goes with that is record it somewhere, whether it's pen and paper on your phone, so that after a week of doing it every day, you can go back and look and say, oh my gosh, I did it. And I'm going to keep going because I see I'm feeling better mentally. I'm feeling better physically. I'm going to keep going. That action you're taking builds momentum and it tells your subconscious, I am a person that is active. I move. I do this. And then, like I said, you'll start offering yourself up ideas. Oh, maybe I can do 2 minutes. Like I'm already here. Let me just do two. Maybe I can do five. Maybe I do it twice a day. Maybe I start doing strength training or I buy a weighted bet. Your brain starts to see all of these possibilities that it did not see when you were not moving in any way. So that's what I meant when I said no motivation is required, because I think it just starting in the simplest form possible and then building on it over time.
How beautiful. So simplify it, right? Start with that first minute, and then build on it, right? This is all becoming like a self inspiration. And when you are self inspired, you will surround yourself with people, with videos, or with a company that is also inspiring you in that particular field or habit that you really want to conquer. So what I would take back is that start with that first minute and then expand on
Exactly.
it, make that as your compound interest. And maybe when you look back, you will be there. And it's always
Exactly.
work in progress, rather than aiming for perfection, just looking at your progress.
Yeah.
Very, very beautifully said. So, Dr. Sarah, if our audience needs to reach out to you, or if there are women physicians listening to this podcast or watching the YouTube video, where can they find you? If they wanted some coaching sessions from you, how can they reach out to you or link up with you?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's drsaraionescu.com. So just like my name is here, if you're listening, it's SARAIONESCU. So doctor and then saraionescu.com. I am on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the same handles everywhere. It's Dr. Sarah Ionescu. And I have an email list people can sign up for if they want to learn more about coaching opportunities, or people can always DM me on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Okay, you've simplified that. They could reach you everywhere. Thank you, Dr. Sarah. This was very, very insightful, and we are taking movement from today's conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you.